Supervisor Kinney, again, 3.6 million illegal immigrants entering this country over the past 28 months. Gallup, by the way, told us last year they're estimating in Latin America and Caribbean alone, 42 million people intend to come here now that the borders are open. What's this doing to the situation in your homeless shelters and your food pantries, and what are you hearing from other cities in New York?
Yeah, so as I've learned in recent weeks, we already have a lot of migrants finding their way to Rockland County through family and friends, and it's already putting a burden on our social services and our Rockland County, so much so that they recently had to give another $1 million to the food pantries. Keeping in mind that Mayor Adams got $1 billion from New York State, and he is looking to put them in hotels in our town without any support or any.
What are your constituents telling you?
The constituents have concerns, and as I sit here today and I hear this testimony, and I understand why. There was questions raised about where the individual was going to be vetted, and they were told us they would be vetted at the border. So in light of what I'm hearing today, it gives pause for the questions about who's going to be in our community.
Thank you. Chief Scott, one of our colleagues said that you had an impossible job. Was your job impossible when we were actually enforcing our immigration laws?
It was not impossible, and we were getting better at it every single day, and we had a strategy to actually secure the border.
But it's basically become impossible since Biden changed those policies. Is that correct?
Correct. The current flow of illegal immigration will exceed any ability to be able to secure.
When Mr. Biden canceled work on the border wall, did that not also cancel work on the technology at the border to detect illegal crossings?
It did that, and it also shut off our new communications capability that was being built into the wall system as well.
Under the Immigration and Naturalization Act, foreign nationals claiming asylum are required to be detained until their claim is heard. Are they?
No.
What can you tell us about cartel and gang activity that's being introduced into our country over the past 2 years?
So everything that crosses that southwest border now is controlled by the cartels. The cartels control the illegal migrant crossings so that they can create these gaps in border security. And then they smuggle, when I say gaps in border security, I mean they overwhelm all the law enforcement in the area beyond Border Patrol. And then that opens gaps where there's no law enforcement, and they bring anything they want into the country behind that. Even on the US side, if it's narcotics or even aliens, they are basically facilitated or guided to their ultimate destinations through cartel on this side, and very, very, very tight ties with many of the gangs, MS-13 and others. Can't really tell where the cartel ends and where they don't. It's more of a terminology. But this is a huge threat, and it's gotten significantly worse with the open border created.
So they're brought in by the cartels, to whom these migrants pay thousands of dollars, arrive at the border deeply indebted to those cartels, and then they're trafficked throughout the country, are they not?
They are, and I really
And who's doing that trafficking?
Again, that's still cartel, and that's still gang affiliations.
Do we not also have a lot of non-governmental organizations that are assisting in distributing these migrants across the country?
So yes. So currently, they're getting millions of dollars. The non-governmental organizations are getting millions of dollars through FEMA, but the people get to choose where they go. So it's not necessarily those non-governmental organizations that are telling them, go to New York and hook up with this smuggler.
Right.
They're just getting the free plane ticket, the free care, and the feeding, a place to rest for a while.
Free, nothing's free. Who's paying for those plane tickets?
You are. It's going through FEMA, and it's basically money being laundered and given to the NGOs to support this entire enterprise.
The Dems tell us this is just a hemispheric problem beyond our control. But when we had the Remain in Mexico policy and we're completing the border wall and we're enforcing court-ordered deportations, didn't illegal immigration slow to a trickle?
Dramatically, I agree with the colleague to my right. When people knew what the parameters were and they knew they couldn't defraud the system and get released into the United States before a judge adjudicated their case, they stopped coming. That reduced flow allowed agents to be more effective.
Ms. Nobles, can you tell us what you thought when you found out that the suspect in Kayla's murder was found to be an MS-13 gang member, and that it was confirmed by a simple phone call by the local police department to El Salvadorian authorities, and then discovered that federal authorities never bothered to make that call before releasing him into the country?
I was very angry about the whole thing.
And what would you have to say to the organizations and officials responsible for the illegal entry, literally, of millions into this country over the past couple of years?
It's unbelievable. Like, I'm really upset about how it was failed at the border and then allowed him to go with his aunt. And then all, you know, it started right at the border and then it just went downhill from there.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes Mr. Hunt, no, Mr. Jordan.
I thank the chairman. It seems to me, Chief Scott, that the fundamental